Hi, I'm Emily Anderson, and I'm going to go over the syllabus with you today for Introduction to Film. I'm in my own office. There's not much to see here, but a couple of chairs and a couple of desks and a couple of doors. And while I'm going through the syllabus, I'm going to be calling out colors. So you'll be taking a quiz on the syllabus, but that quiz will just be the order in which I called out all the colors. So let's say our first color is yellow. And then on the quiz, it'll ask you which color did I call out first? And you'll say that I called out yellow. Okay. Mostly I'm going to be sharing my screen and walking through the syllabus with you, so we don't need to take up so much time on the first day of class. When you log on to Google Classroom for our class, it will look like this. The first thing you'll see is the stream. When I need to communicate with you as a class, sometimes I'll email you. Most often, I'll announce something here. So you want to make sure you're getting emails for every announcement. The most important part of the syllabus, probably, of the page is the classwork section. And the first thing under the classwork section is the syllabus. And I'm going to spend some time talking about that now. So the syllabus looks like this. Okay, let's say the second color is olive. You'll want to be writing these down and numbering them, by the way. Okay, the syllabus looks like this. If you scroll down, you can see we're meeting Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 10:40 to 11:50 in 315 Old Main. It should actually say CFA. And then we're also meeting on Wednesdays from 7 to 10 p.m. Those will be film screenings. They don't last until 7 p.m., hardly ever. You show up, you watch the film, and you leave when it's over. But some of the films are longer than others. So I've said 7 to 10. That's in the Center for Fine Arts in the round room. If you can't make any of the film, if you can't make one of the film screenings, let me know and we'll work something else out. Okay, my name's Emily Anderson and you're welcome to call me Emily. If you can't bring yourself to do that, please call me Professor Anderson or Dr. Anderson. The most important thing you can notice here is that this number is the best way to reach me. It's a Google Voice number. It doesn't make my phone ring or beep or anything like that. You can call it and leave a voicemail message. The easier way for me is if you send me a text message. I respond much more quickly to text messages than I do to email messages. If you text me, please write out all the words. Don't use text speak, but they can be shorter and I can respond more quickly. If you have a longer message or question that you need to send, of course, you should write me an email. Notice that my email address is just my last name at knox.edu. And if you send me an email message, please put in the subject line something like, I am a student, please respond. I get 100 email messages a day. So I need something like that to let me know. Don't do it with anyone else because it's cool in general, but it'll help me pick out the messages from you. Okay. The other thing up here is about office hours. I'm in my office a lot, and you're welcome to drop by whenever you see that the door is open. And I may or may not have time to talk, but I will always have time to talk on Tuesdays from 10:30 to 1:30. I'll just sit in there waiting for you to stop by. You are welcome to drop by. You can also make an appointment to talk to me. And I'll show you what that looks like in a second. Most of the time for the rest of this recording, I'm going to be going over information about the course, my policies and specific assignments. But for right now, I want to look at the schedule of readings and the deadlines. Okay, I'm going to ignore this part for now and come back to it in a second. Let's say the next color is teal. Almost every week, we're going to spend Monday reading about a thing, Wednesday reading about the same thing, Wednesday night watching a film in which that thing is interesting, and then Friday talking about the film. On Fridays, you will also have quizzes due. Those are on Google Classroom. And you will have responses due. Those are also on Google Classroom. I'll talk about what those look like in a second. So for example, on Monday, September 13th and September 15th, we're reading about narrative form. Then that night we're watching Pulp Fiction, which is really interesting in terms of narrative form. On Friday, before you come to class, you'll submit the quiz on narrative form and you'll submit your response to the film. And I'll talk again more about those in a second. Okay, for the second week of class, we'll be reading about mise-en-scène on Monday and Wednesday. There's also a PDF here on German Expressionism. That counts as part of the reading you need to do before class. Then we'll be looking at watching Lost in Translation Wednesday night. Before class on Friday, you'll need to submit the quiz on mise-en-scène and submit a response to Lost in Translation. All of the weeks go like that. Okay, I'm going to come back to the syllabus in a minute, but first, information about meeting with me is right here. Okay, so you can text me whenever you like. Again, it could be in the middle of the night. It doesn't make any noises on my telephone. You can also email me. The easiest way is to make an appointment during my office hours. You're totally welcome to drop by. The reason to make an appointment is that it will guarantee you a certain block of time so that you wouldn't have to wait in line, for example, or wait for someone who got there just a minute earlier than you did. There's a link for signing up on your Google Calendar. I'm also happy to meet with you outside of office hours. Just let me know and we can make an appointment. Okay. The next thing that the syllabus links to is course policies and information. Let's say the next cover color is ivory. Okay, course policies and information is essentially a list of things that are important for the class. And I'm going to go over most of them with you right now. And the first one is course materials. The most important thing that you'll need for the class is this book right here. Make sure that you get the 4th edition, not the 3rd edition. They're considerably different. And you can find it on Amazon or the bookstore or anywhere else, probably as well. You'll also need PDFs like the one I showed you for German Expressionism. Please print those out. I'm assigning PDFs specifically because I'm not assigning you this book called Film History. And printing the PDFs is way cheaper than buying that textbook. So instead of asking you to buy the book, I'm giving you PDFs. If you print them out, you'll be able to take your own notes on them, and you can use them during the exams and quizzes. So you'll find it much easier to do that with hard copies as well. Okay, next in course policies is participation. I'm not going to read all of this to you, but participation is important for your grade in the class and also just being in the class. Okay, let's say the next color is lime. Participation means many things, and I'm gonna not read all of them to you, but read a couple of them to you. So first of all, you want to respect everyone in the class, and that involves learning people's names. I'm terrible with names and faces. So that one, I'm just telling you up front, is going to be hard for me. You want to talk in class. Don't talk too much. I'd like you to raise your hand before talking, which feels less organic, I know, but it helps me make sure that everyone gets to talk as much as people are comfortable with. If you tend not to speak in classes, please let me know in advance. I can either help you talk more or talk through what's stopping you if you tell me in advance. If you talk a lot in class, you'll maybe want to reel it back in. And again, I can talk to you about that if it comes up. Appear interested even when you're not. And very importantly, you must laugh at my jokes. They're funny. I'm telling you they're funny because you wouldn't know on your own just listening to them. Okay, the next color is azure. Okay, the next thing on the course policies list is participation, part 2. And this is a way to participate if you either never get a chance to talk in class, or you're going to miss a class, or something else is going on. And it involves Flipgrid, which I'm going to talk about next, and which you're going to practice before the first day of class. If you're participating fine in class, you'll never need to use Flipgrid again. And if you're not sure, you can let me know. If you know you're going to be absent, or if you know you're not going to talk in a particular class, before you come to class, you can record a Flipgrid presentation. Flipgrid presentations should be about the material we're discussing. They need to be between 3 and 5 minutes long, and they should be the kind of thing that will help me in class discussion think about your interpretation of the film or the reading. Okay. If you're absent, you can do a Flipgrid before you come to class the next time. If you're going to be in class, you need to do the Flipgrid before class. Flipgrid looks like this. This is what it looks like for participation part 2. And you would click add a response here and then record your response. You're all going to practice with Flipgrid before the first day of class, so you'll know how to do it already. And it's, if you're doing it for participation reasons, only I will see it. No one else will see it. It is the case that I think 5 minutes is what I've set the timer for, but you need to speak at least for 3 for participation responses. Okay. The next thing on the course policies list is a description of the quizzes. Every Friday, you're going to take a quiz on that week's reading, which we talked about already. They're on Google Classroom. They open Wednesday night, and they're open until, or they're due when class starts on Friday. You have to do it fast. So 5 minutes for 10 questions. You can use your books and your notes, but that won't help you finish it on time if you don't already know where to look. I'm going to grade these after class on those Fridays, because the computer doesn't grade them perfectly. If you misspell something, it'll call it wrong, for example. So I'm going to go back and fix all of those. Another really important thing for quizzes is that you'll have to time yourself, and that's an honor code obligation. So the top of the quiz will tell you how long you have to take it, and you'll need to make sure that that's how long you spend on it. Responses are the other thing you'll be doing before Friday's class. Let's say the next color is gray. Before class on Fridays, you'll write and submit a response to Wednesday's film. Oh dear, my session is expired. Hold on. Okay, great. Here are the basic guidelines for responses. If you're absent, you can submit it late, but it has to be in before the next class you attend. You can't submit it late if you were actually there for the discussion. They should be about 250 words, and the suggestions down here and examples give you an idea of exactly what I'm looking for. There are also some descriptions of grades. So there's a sample one for Citizen Kane on cinematography that would get a 10 or a 7 or a 4 or a 1. So you'll want to look at all of these examples before you do your first response. And the first response will be one on narrative form in Pulp Fiction. So this would be a great way to respond to begin. Let's say the next color is orange. Okay. You also have 2 exams this term. Access has expired again. I don't know why. Both of them are in Google Classroom and they look exactly like the quizzes. The first exam you'll be taking at midterm, and it'll be on the first half of the term. The second exam you'll be taking at the end of the term, and it'll be on the second half of the term. Okay. You'll time yourself on these as well. They're 70 minutes, about a class period long. And they'll include, it's expiring again. They'll include questions like on the quizzes, and also ask you to write something like a film response to a clip that I'm going to show you while you're taking the exam. At the end of the term, I'm going to determine your final grade based on the following breakdown. Participation is worth 15, responses are worth 20, quizzes 20, and exams 45. Okay. It's also the case that Google Classroom probably won't tell you what your real grade is, because I don't exactly curve them, but I distribute them based on a linear grade distribution model that lets me raise a lot of grades based on how well you've done relative to other people in the class. So that will never lower your grade, but it will probably raise your grade. And for that, that can be frustrating because you don't always get to know exactly what your marks mean. But you should know that it'll be at least what Google Classroom tells you it is. Let's say the next color is maroon. Okay, so all of the things I've just gone over with you now are listed, are pages listed on the course policies. Going back to the syllabus, you can see that, for example, mise en scène, notice that the page numbers here are not the whole chapter. That there's a PDF for German Expressionism, that we're watching the film in the round room, 110 CFA. And then the quiz is due on Friday. We just talked about that. And the response is due on Friday. We just talked about that. Okay. Before class on Monday, you do need to do some other things. Watch the syllabus video, which you're doing right now, and taking the syllabus quiz, which you're going to be doing as soon as you're finished watching this video. You're also going to watch Orson Welles' Citizen Kane. We're going to watch that again at the end of the term. One of my goals this term is to get you to like Citizen Kane. You don't have to love it. You can even pretend to like it, but my point or goal is really to get you to understand why everyone thinks it's so good. You need to watch the film before the first day of class, and you can either rent it from YouTube for $3 or $4, which is what this link takes you to, or you can borrow it from our library. It might be streaming other places. And then take the Citizen Kane quiz. And the quiz is really easy. You can take it while you're watching it. It's basically like, which character says this? And it's all in order. And then you're going to experiment with Flipgrid before class on Monday. That's my reminder to send this to you. Okay. The links you need are on Google Classroom, which we're going to go back and look at again. And the next color is green. Okay, so under classwork, you've got the syllabus, which we just looked at, and then the syllabus quiz, which you'll take as soon as this is done. Experiment with Flipgrid, which we talked about, and I'll have one up there also so you can see me do what I'm asking you to do. You're going to watch Welles' Citizen Kane, and the link for that is here as well. And then you're going to take this quiz on Citizen Kane. I've just moved them. Both of those Citizen Kane things you'll need to do before the first day of class. The syllabus quiz and experimenting with Flipgrid you can do right now. Let's say the next color is coral. I've got a couple more colors to go through, so I need to start saying them faster. If you have any questions about Google Classroom or the syllabus, please let me know. And to let me know, you're going to text me or email me with the subject line that makes it really clear that I need to respond right away. Okay. I think that's all you need to know about the syllabus. I do hope you go back and read things more carefully. There are 2 more pages on the course policies that I didn't show you. One of them is about avoiding plagiarism, and I'll assume that you've read that. And the other is on course content. And I'll just say, for plagiarizing, don't do it. For course content, everything we're watching is potentially upsetting or reading. So you should know that in advance if you're planning to take the class, which you are. Okay, the next color is red. And I'll just give you the last 2 because I've already got them on the quiz. So the next one will be plum, and the last one is blue. Okay. Again, let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to seeing you on Monday.